Alright, so it's been a while since I last had an episode for Lotus, but that comes with a few little details that I haven't talked about yet. One of those details being that recently Create Aeronautics has come out since the last episode, I believe, and I am attempting to switch this mod pack over to instead use Create Aeronautics. Now, that process has not been working out too great at the moment, but at the very least, it should be coming soon. It's just that we're missing 2 mods, so that's great. Now, as for today, my current plans are actually going to be to make an outpost over at that area over there, because we've already gone over there. But I kind of realized that this is a really great place for an outpost, for kind of looking over the area and making sure that we can see certain areas in advance as we try to probably move towards where that weird sound is coming from. But that is to say, some of the other things I want to set up ahead of time is actually probably going to be setting up some sort of a cobblestone generator, because I'm going to want a lot of stone for that build, and I don't necessarily want to be doing that all by hand if I could be doing other things at the same time. Now, that'll require us to have a good bit of iron, so we actually have to go mining in the meantime if we don't have enough, but luckily we do. But I think what we almost don't have enough of is andesite alloy. So maybe another thing we'll have to do is go mining for more andesite so we can keep up with that. Plus, I also probably want to use andesite within the build itself. Let's do this, that, blam, blam, blah. All right, cool. And I think the crafting is this, that, that. Nope, it's actually the other way around. Blam, bop, bop, blah, 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 blam, blah, 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 blah. All right, cool. Turn this back into iron, and we're gonna go ahead and do that. All right, so now we have a drill, and I think it's probably also smart to make another water wheel for the setup that I'm going for. I think, in fact, on that note, another thing that I will want to set up is some sort of like workshop area so that I can put all the create mod stuff there, or at least have a setup so that it's easier for me instead of going down here where I have the current water wheel. I can instead have like an upwards area where the workshop is. So that could even be like somewhere right here. Yeah, like somewhere off to the side here. So we might need to change the elevation of this terrain. That's gonna be a lot of dirt, and I don't know if that's exactly worth it, but we'll see. Point being though, I wonder if we could get away with just doing a temporary drill down here. All that means is that we'll just need, we have enough iron to make a hopper. So a hopper here, and then we'll need water. So that way we've got a water source in here that won't really get in the way here. I might just reuse this lava source here. And I think what should be done is that, so turn the zinc here into copycats. Yeah, so I think we could do this, 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 and this. This, there we go. Then we can put the lava here. Perfect, I think. Now, very incredibly slowly over time, this should give us some cobblestone. But I'm starting to think there's ways that we could speed this up. Let's see if we could use cogwheels here, actually, to speed up the process. I think that makes that faster. It's like casing there, and then, yes, okay. So that should speed it up. Now, the only problem is that now I just made it so that we have to move this whole thing. Okay, these 2 here, water. Yeah, whatever, it works. So now this will collect stone over time, and we're just gonna let that go for a bit while we get back to other stuff. Because as I mentioned earlier, I want to have all of the different types of create stuff in one area for the workshop. And there's a few things with chip that actually has some pretty good cobblestone textures. So I think once we get enough cobblestone, we'll actually try those out. Although I think that means that I need to make the mason's workbench. All right, which I just need clay and brick. Let's see. We do have clay, and we do have brick. So 2 iron and wood and a crafting table. Here we are, and boom, we got the mason's workbench. So yeah, these are pretty cool. I also like these. They're very structured. And yeah, probably just some normal bricks will also do. And hopefully all 4 of those can kind of come together in a mixed pattern in order to create something nice. So we'll check that out. So in order of the size of each of the bricks, I think this is correct. So hopefully that creates a good gradient. And if we try that, yeah, we would get something like that. Yeah, which doesn't look too bad. And I think we'll play with that. But first, before we go over and do any of that, let's let the cobblestone collect a little bit longer. And we're just gonna put that there for now. And I want to go ahead and make the work area over here. And I've decided, I think we're just going to keep this on a lower level so that the house has a nice view over here and that it doesn't get in the way of anything else. So we'll put it somewhere around here. So I'm actually kind of thinking here is going to be a kind of like walkway down. I think that's too steep for what the terrain is worth. Oh, and the trowel here actually could come really in handy. So let's see what happens if I do something like this. Yeah, I actually kind of already like that. Yeah, and then there will be yeah, let's I think we'll dig downwards. I might be wrong. Yeah, so now we're kind of looking at a platform design like this. Let me flesh it out more because I think it's there's no way you guys can see the vision here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lamb. Yeah. Because I like the idea of preserving the terrain that already exists. I know I talked about that in the last video. I want that to remain true. Okay, so this is basically the design I just want for the little platform for where we're gonna put all the crate stuff. Nothing crazy, not anything needing like too much space, but I'll probably do like somewhere in this like center part is where energy will come from, or at least different corners will have energy sources. And then it'll just be kind of structured that way. So we'll see what that looks like. But for now, I kind of want to focus on a path design because I think the most reasonable kind of path design we can do should be made out of cobblestone. So I'm thinking if I just kind of start this, yeah, and then we can do that. Although we can still rely on different cobblestone stuff like these. Yeah, like I think this would look good for the path is the small cobblestone bricks. Hopefully this should look fine. We'll do like a little test to see what that might look like. And I've just kind of, in case people want to know my thought process for how I build, it's just kind of like build as if you're randomizing which blocks you're going for. Like don't think about it too much, just kind of let the mouse go and it'll kind of figure out a nice little pattern. And here I did kind of want like the smallest little bridge. And we can use the trapdoors here to kind of finish that off. And that's the other thing that I feel about building. I do animation work for some of my other content, as I'm sure most of you know. One of the best skills that kind of applies across is that you can kind of, if you can tell it looks bad, then you can also technically tell what would make it look good. You just have to understand, I guess, the basis of like what makes it look good versus bad. So if you know it looks bad, you know it can change. So just keep fiddling with it until it looks right, and you'll eventually kind of get there. Now, I'm not a great builder by all means. I still use a lot of references like from Pinterest builds and all that sort of stuff. So I am not trying to pretend like I fully know what I'm doing. Because again, sometimes certain things it's easier for me to build and other things it looks like trash, and then I basically fully fall on a reference. Yeah, like this isn't too bad. I'm even kind of tempted if I can grab some of the cobblestone here, put it in a grindstone. Maybe that's the next thing we can make. It's a grindstone. Nope, what is it called? Millstone? There we go. We can start turning cobblestone into gravel, which then could be coarse dirt and gravel for the path. So I think one of the first things I'll do here, allow me to fully focus on create for a second here, because I want to figure out an actual design that'll work. All right, where was it? So copper scaffolding. What I'll probably do is what I did over at the other place, and I'll kind of use this as my maintenance shaft. And luckily there's this cave down here already, so I could probably hide some of the underground crate stuff down there. So the idea is that I want to just attach this to like a line of water wheels. Ow. Oh, okay. Yeah. I never knew that was a thing. Ow. I also have already completely forgotten that there's no natural regen. Don't know how I forgot about that. Besides that, now I need the water for it. And that'll give us a good excuse to go heal at the campfire and get some more food. We can do this. All right, cool. So yeah, we got 5 water wheels here, which is pretty good. Maybe also what I'll do is I'll do the same speed rotation thing just to get this going a lot faster. All right, so that should be a little bit faster. I'm not too worried about crazy speed on this stuff because that's not the main point here. And yeah, basically here could theoretically just do stuff like, well, not like that. You do stuff like this, but I don't want those down. That's not what I need right now. What I do want is for this grindstone to be connected. And there. Yeah, this will basically then hopefully work for itself. Now, yeah, so the reason why I wanted this is both for gravel, but then there's also a secondary reason, which, come to think of it, we do have some wheat over there. And what we can actually do with the byproduct of grinding down wheat is that we get more seeds. And since we're definitely in dire need of seeds, that actually might be our biggest benefactor right now. And soon we can start growing this a lot faster. So let's grab all the wheat that we have, which literally is a total of 4. Throw it in here. While that's doing that, we can also grab the cobblestone to make sure it's not overflowing, which it is. Dang it. Well, we're getting a lot of cobblestone. That's good. Yay, 2 more seeds. Wonderful. You can hear how excited I am. But for now, we'll just have like a thing of cobblestone turning into gravel. Let's grab a barrel from here. Place that underneath. Really? There we go. Now that we don't have to worry about checking on it all the time. And then come back to place these seeds. Now, yes, I'm probably being really unreasonable by trying to grow wheat, but at a certain point, we're gonna need as much wheat as we can get because that'll just kind of help our food supply in the long run. And I kind of don't really care about any of the other food supplies. I mean, we're still working on them. It's just they're all really slow. So now that we got this going on, it looks like we could probably skip right over to making the outpost right behind us. But the first thing I want to actually literally logically do is cut a little path through the forest here to make a clearing so that it's a more proper path to an actual outpost. So it just has that more outposty feeling. That definitely makes sense. So I'm going to take this hand crank and mechanical saw, and we're just gonna go to town, chopping down all that stuff. So we're gonna just chop down trees like this. Yeah, this will kind of just be the pattern of what we do. Now, because I'm probably gonna cut out a lot of this, I'm at least gonna show you how I'm gonna do this as quick as I'm going to end up doing it. That was words. The create mod basically allows you to connect trees like this and then just use a mechanical saw to then cut down multiple trees at once. The only thing you have to note here is that it'll only chop it down if you are chopping down the lowest Y level on the block. So this one is like the lowest base trunk, and then as long as it's connecting to the lowest part of another tree, then that is valid. So you'll see here, if I just connect this tree like this, I chop it down this way, you're gonna see that those 2 logs still remain because they were lower than where it was getting cut. Or, well, lower than where the connecting log was, I guess is the specific way to call it. So yeah, I'm just gonna carve my way over to that mountain, and I will see you guys after that. Uh-oh, creepers. All right, just in case. Okay. Yeah. Whoa! Uh-oh. Hold on. Anything else that wants to surprise me? All right, we're just about at the end here, so let's just chop down these last few trees. And so as you can see, actually pretty well from here, you can see that all the way over, we've got this little path going on right up to here. Now, the only problem is that I might have to break my little rule about keeping most of the terrain unmodified, because this is such a steep hill that I don't think we can make it all the way up here without compromising the terrain at least a little bit to create just a bit more of a path here. So the idea will be, oh, there's still some saplings here from last time we were here, but the rule is generally just going to be modify the terrain as least as possible while also building the structure here. So as we saw last time that we were here, it just kind of loops around and it eventually gets that spot over there. And I think if we look like over here, yeah, this is a bit of a cool terrain here, but besides that, yeah, up here, this has really got like the big tower. So I've got ideas how I want to build this little outpost up here, but at the end we will see. And it's quite cold up here, so I'm going to retreat back. All right, so we're going to grab some of the cobblestone here and basically turn this all into this is the tiny, small cobblestone bricks. Okay, so small cobblestone bricks. Just while we're down here, let me grab and make like a few campfires. Perfect. All right, 16 campfires. That's pretty good. And then, yeah, I think we can just head out and start making the path. We've also got a bit of the gravel, so we'll see if we can incorporate that as well. Actually, I think I have to stop immediately because actually one of the things I want to do is create a little bit of a bridge here. I know I could smooth that with dirt, but again, I want to preserve terrain. Plus, we have a lot of wood, so I don't think there's any harm in that. All right, I think that's pretty good for the bridge. Yeah, perfect. All right, so now I'm gonna just continue again, going with the path over to there. Forgot what path this was. This is the path of the monster spawner. Oh my god, and it's just like, they're nowheres. All right, hold on. I'm gonna need to block off this cave. Maybe zombies too. So, this is the rest of the trail figured out. So, it goes all the way up here, and then it curves up the mountain this way, which has required a decent amount of terraforming. But basically from here, it'll allow us to climb up to this little spot, to which I think the outpost will then cover most of this mountain, and will probably continue some sort of trail. I would maybe think about terraforming like around here. Yeah, like there's even like a natural path sort of here, so we can have it cut through and zigzag up around here. So that's the general idea. I'm gonna see if that works out, but hey, while I'm already climbing up here, I want to see if there's anything else that we might have been missing while not being all the way up here. Not really. Yeah, it's more of the same terrain, but hey, this is the highest peak that, well, that's, hold on. This is the highest peak that I think we can naturally go to until we get to that area over there, because it looks like there's higher mountains over there. Now, that is to say, we are not done yet, so I am going to get back to work on finishing the little path up to here, and then we will eventually figure out how to do the outpost. All right, I think after a little bit of work up here, I did pretty good. I'm just gonna let that sit for a bit so things can grass over and all that. But one of the things that I wanted to try is first finish placing these slabs. That's pretty good. So one of the things I want to do is like place clusters of leaves every now and then, just to kind of like make the cobblestone bits feel like more fleshed out, so it's not just cobblestone. And also so it just like looks like the forest has left leaves over the whole thing. And luckily we got a lot along the way, and some that we could still take from the forest if needed. But it just adds that little bit of detail while I'm starving to death. Hold on. A little bit of detail that I think says a lot about the world. Here's another random method that I use. I don't know if this is really a building tip, but sometimes, again, just to get that like random feeling, just move around. Don't stay. Yeah, I have a center place in mind where I'm placing these, but like, don't feel like you have to stay in one area. Like, if you make a mistake, don't undo it. Just let that mistake add to it. And also, I'm going to start incorporating them into existing leaf litter piles. And I feel like this really exaggerates then, like the spots that are cleaner. Perfect. All right, yeah, that just adds a little bit more to the path, I feel like. All right, I guess I'll just get back to the path here, kind of clean up whatever I have to. Oh, I forgot the flint and steel. Whatever. So yeah, I think that looks awesome, actually. I like how much the kind of dirt and grass sort of just like fades away towards the top. I think it's super cool. All right, now this might be the hard part, and I might have to go back to home for this, because yeah, I'm gonna need stone in order to actually make this path work. So I'll do some terraforming to sort of bump it up. So I'm also noticing something peculiar about being up here right now, is that I'm actually not freezing. I'm cold, but I'm not freezing. But the more important part is that I'm wearing the leaf armor while up here. Previously, when we were, I think, still in spring, being up here made you freeze without anything on, or even, I think, with a little bit of armor. But now it seems like I'm not freezing at all, even with the armor on, which makes me assume that we're in the winter, or we're in summer right now. Because I think I also noticed that even like the plains and forest area, if you're not wearing anything, it's now a little hotter. Like you'll heat up. So I'm gonna assume we're in summer right now, and yeah, that means I've been here some time. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. All right, that's cursed. I think that was probably the most cursed thing I've ever done. 10 stacks. I don't... This works, right? I don't think anything here is gonna burn, at least. Ow. 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 Wait. Water. I need water. Very... Let's not die. Let's... If that's how I die for the first time, well, if that's how I die, then great. All right. So we got healing and protection up here. All right, cool. So this is a little bit of the artificial cliff here. Kind of shows that there's like withering. Feels a little bit more dangerous, I guess. Feels cool. So now I can kind of go around this way. I almost just fell off the edge here. Oh no. All right, let's see what happens here. I'm gonna be stuck in the middle of building. It's gonna turn nighttime. All right, I'd say that's pretty good as well. It's hard to get a good angle of this, but that's what that looks like on the side. And then the last part that I have to do for the path here is just decorate it with the random pattern thingy. And then basically the whole path just comes up to here. And the idea is that the outpost entrance will be right into the, like it'll be built into the mountain. And the outpost itself will be built into the mountain as well. So hopefully I know what I'm doing. I'm not entirely sure yet. The path looks cool. That's reassuring. Besides that, I have no clue. There's also this cave here, so maybe I'll make use of that in the design too. I actually realized I should probably expand the wheat field a bit more. So we're just gonna extend it by 3 stone hoes. To be fair, I've been building for quite some time now. Although I don't think I've ever clarified how long. It's been multiple in-game days. All right, well, this is what the field is expanded to, just a little bit. I'll obviously be expanding it more as, you know, the farm itself grows, but for now, that's all my leg's not moving. I float now. Yeah, this is the farm for now. So, yeah, I just had to make sure we expanded that a little bit before I got all caught up in making that up there. I guess we're on to that now. Okay, I have no clue where I want to put this, but I'm going to start laying out the structure of what I think this building should look like, and we're just going to kind of go with the flow. So, yeah, wish me luck. Yeesh. So this is now a creeper tower. Yep. Run. Not a good time. Nope. All right, we're doing this again. All right, I gotta put down a campfire. That actually looks pretty cool. I even might raise up that few more blocks. It's like it doesn't stand out enough from the path. Yeah, I think that's better, because then, yeah, now from like down here, it's easier to kind of see those two as two different structures, or at least two different towers. Then as you're coming up, you'll basically get, yeah, wow, they stay pretty distinct. I think that's pretty good. Now all that needs to be done, finish up this path, create the floor here. Yeah, all we have to do here is just finish putting a floor up here, then finish the path going here with the staircase, just sort of tidy up the interiors, and then redecorate the outside, because it's a very basic structure right now, and this is not what I plan on finishing on, but there's definitely like things I can do to decorate it here. But otherwise, I think from most angles, this looks pretty good. Yeah, look at that. That looks pretty cool. Okay, so now added these little blocks, adds just a bit more detail to the outline of the building. Still not done yet, but we'll see what other details I can kind of throw in there. I'm kind of thinking what we could do is use stone walls to kind of add like spikes to the top, but then also maybe little details along the outside. Let's test on this one, see how it looks. So that's it with the spikes. I feel like that does add, yeah, that adds a bit more. And something else I saw and want to try, which I don't know how to build it. Something like this maybe? I forgot the scaffolding back at the house. I'm kind of doing this blind, so I'm thinking maybe like, I'm gonna play around for a bit. Okay. Do I like that corner? Yeah, sure. Oh, now I can also put a campfire up here, come to think of it. Boom. Bye. Okay. Yep. I knew that was gonna happen. Small explanation to the audience. Between episodes, I actually got a new keyboard, and all of the buttons on the keyboard are very sensitive, which is something that has caused a lot of problems with some of the games I've been playing, where I'm just doing misinputs all of the time. You know what? They're pretty funny, so I'm not gonna get too worried about it. It's just obviously some scenarios are more dangerous than others. What am I doing? I should have at least the water bucket in my inventory. Or in my hotbar. Sometimes it's actually a wonder how I'm still not dead by now. I really need two more stairs. Fine, I'll have to come back up, but first, I should have probably placed these first. All right, I am dancing with the devil right now. So we're just missing the 2 stairs, but otherwise, I don't know, that looks pretty good. Now, obviously that's only design that happens at the top, which worked here a bit. There still needs to be like windows and some other decorations that kind of go down here. So I'll have to work with that. But I'd say this looks actually really cool from even over here where it's facing pretty blankly. Overall, I say I did great. Whee! Oh, all right, I did the thing again. That's just on me. Ooh, head down, head to bed. That's the rule. That is the rule now. It's head down, head to bed. And stop water bucket clutching. That is extremely irresponsible. And there it is. So now I just gotta work on window designs, which I think will just kind of be small slates. And then other designs that go down each floor. So I've also determined that each floor will consist of 5 blocks of headspace, just because that's how it worked out here when I placed this floor by accident. Yeah, that's better. All right, that's much better. We're gonna do 2 windows per floor per wall. So I guess the next thing is also just working our way downwards. Because I'm also thinking this could be a nice tower to work as something that we can like enter from the bottom, have like a safe way upwards. Breaking my rules. Oh my God. Progress so far is looking very nice on both of the buildings. You're probably hearing that every other second from me, but these are long spans of time between each clip. So far, this episode has been the most different from any of the other videos so far, because this has just been a very long process, and so it's basically just multiple hours are being cut out because it's just me building. But hopefully it's still enjoyable for everyone to watch. So I realized it's probably more effort than it's worth than to go up and around and then down at this point. So I think what I could probably just do is cut right through here. Now, I don't like using that free cam in order to like clip through walls and stuff, because also I don't want to see what's like underground and stuff. So I think those will be the few times where I'll actually use it to look through something, is just to line it up with whatever I'm building. That's the only reason why I even installed it today, and so it should stay that way. Well, that doesn't line up how I want it to, so we're gonna have to just have it elevate 1 more block. And now we got this little tunnel, I just gotta make a path for it. So something I realized way too late is that you might have noticed, but I was wearing a completely different skin for most of this episode. That is because I change skins from time to time for different series, which currently I am recording another series, and I completely forgot to change it back for Lotus. So no, that is not lore related, that is just me being stupid. Anyway, on a separate note, I actually think that this tower is for the most part complete. The one thing that I think I'm just gonna have to sacrifice time-wise here is just letting the rest of these floors not have any extra decorations like here. Instead, we're just going to leave it with the windows, and I'll probably come back to it on a later date because this episode is going way over my usual recording time. So I'm just going to clean up all the interior areas like this with the walls that aren't yet complete. And I'm going to dig all the way down to the bottom, probably one more floor, and then I will basically just be done. What does that sound? Yup. Okay. Don't do it. Oh my god. Where'd you come from? Where did that come from? They're coming from there? Shoot. So the campfire doesn't exactly reach down there, huh? Okay. Let's light up this cave. Okay, well that was scary. 16 torches, 14 coal, sure. Actually, no, we got enough for torches. Okay, well, I can go around lighting the place. I've probably gone way too long without lighting anything, so that's kind of karma. I should not have been relying just on the campfires to prevent spawning, so yeah, yikes. I know it's a bad idea again, but I'm probably going to leave most of the area untorched just so I can create a pattern once the walls are actually finished. Wow, look at that. That's pretty cool. Oh, wow. Yeah, it seems like these storms are going to be the most dangerous part about this entire thing is because these don't have cover. So whenever they're unlit, there's going to be no protection, especially when there's no light. So while the insides of the towers are going to be fine, yeah, I can't say much else about the outsides. God, these paths are also going to get covered if I just let it snow up here. It is what it is. But besides that, I actually do think that we are done up here. So if we take a look, yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. So now we can pack it all up and head out. And yeah, if we look from here, it's pretty cool. I'd say that's a job well done for today. Well, for nearly the entire summer. I believe summer is actually almost over. That's how many days have actually gone by since I started working on that building. Well, now that that's all done, we got a little extra safeguard up there before we can travel all the way over there, which makes me feel a lot better. At least we have a more secure outpost than a little building here. Now that is saying I think we will have to backtrack all the way over there again because this is the last of my crab legs and I still don't have a stable enough wheat supply because the farm isn't big enough. Now, something else that's become apparent to me is that if I'm really going to protect myself, I'm going to have to work on, myself. The armor that I currently have is only like light iron stuff, but I don't have that much iron to kind of throw around to make better armor. So the idea for next episode will be that we'll actually turn this cobblestone farm down here into gravel, and then we can turn the gravel and wash it into iron. It's not gonna be anything crazy efficient. We're just gonna get some passive iron, kind of like how we've just been getting everything passively this whole time, but it'll at least be another machine that can get us something passively over time. So I'm kind of thinking we'll have another little stream that'll go down this way with the water wheel that will then have that going for us. That is to say, I should probably stick around for the rest of summer in order to make sure that the crops over here grow at their most efficient rate. Because right now we're only getting small amounts at a time. And me having been up there this whole time has not benefited that growing at all. So yeah, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed, please feel free to subscribe, leave a like, do whatever. And if you have any ideas for what I should do next in order to probably, progress a little bit more, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll leave it there. So I hope you all have a great day. Bye!